So a bit of backstory. Me and my cousin were spending some time together in the city, and then we encounter entitled kid and entitled mom. I see entitled kid saying something to entitled mom and pointing to my cousin, and then out of nowhere entitled kid starts flirting with my cousin. Entitled kid, hey beautiful cousin, hey. My cousin tries to walk further and faster but entitled kid stops her. Me, what do you want from us? Entitled kid, that's none of your concern. Cousin, yes that is his concern. Then entitled mom steps in. Come on, how can you date someone so ugly? Date entitled kid, he's much more handsome than that boy. Me, wait what? No we're not dating. I can understand the confusion since I'm a boy and my cousin is a girl and I'm a few months older. Entitled kid, well what are you doing with her then? Cousin, he's my cousin you dork. Entitled mom, that's not true, he doesn't even look like you. Me, ma'am I don't think you understand how cousins work. I notice entitled kid trying to grab my cousin's chest area while she was distracted, so I instantly step in front of my cousin. What do you think you're doing? Entitled kid, taking her away from a pedophile like you. Me, excuse me, you're the pedophile. You were the one fishing for my cousin's chest area. Entitled mom, entitled kid would never do that. You on the other hand are not her cousin and you know that. Cousin, let's just go. I'll listen to my cousin cause I know myself I have anger problems but nope. Entitled kid and entitled mom both block our path. Entitled mom, you need to date entitled kid. Cousin, I don't want to, I don't even know him. I hug my cousin since she was crying at this point. Me, leave us alone. You made her cry. Is that how you want a relationship? Entitled kid, you don't tell me what to do, you'll never get a girlfriend. Me, listen here kid, my cousin doesn't want to be with you. Just get out of here before I call my aunt, and believe me, my aunt doesn't mess around when her daughter is crying. Somehow this was actually enough to get entitled kid and entitled mom away before both of them throw a middle finger at me. I calmed my cousin down and went on with the day. While writing this we could kind of laugh about it seeing how stupid entitled kid and entitled mom were. So this one happened to me a few months ago. I work at Best Buy and as you probably know we do some pretty big discounts for Black Friday. That week is usually the worst for us employees. Customers can get so aggressive and rude that those of us that actually show up to work receive a bonus at the end of the month. I was in a pretty bad shape financially, so I decided I would work for Black Friday this year. Bad call. Near the end of the day after the best deals were gone, a mom showed up with her 15-year-old kid. They wanted to see if we had unsold products that we could give away, that she was out of a job and her kid needed a PC or a tablet to submit essays and prepare PowerPoint presentations for school. I told her this wasn't a bakery and we didn't give out expensive technological items for free just because they were unsold. However, I was in a good mood after going through that day. I also knew thanks to work and especially after this week I'd finally be financially stable. So I told her I had an old tablet that I could gift her. It just had to stay plugged in for it to work since its battery was broken. It could still be used. You just couldn't move while using it. She told me, boy, I'm 25. Why would I use a tablet if I can't even fucking move it? Why would you give me that shiz? I'm a single mom. I need to raise my kid good. Just look around. There is a ton of junk you haven't sold. Give it to me. Black Friday is over and I deserve it. Being a single mom is hella hard work and you should be glad to be able to help someone in need. I answered that wasn't my call to make and I expected a little respect since I was an employee, not a friend. That apparently hurt her and at that point she lost her shiz. She told me, oh f*** off. Do you know how hard it's been for me lately? No one thinks about others nowadays. Times are harsh and you treat me that way. Why are you so cold, asshole? You should be ashamed. Go kill yourself. If I were you I'd slit my throat, douchebag. Fortunately my boss was next to me at that point, probably drawn in by her foul language and the volume of her voice. He told her to leave and when she refused told her to f*** off or you and your kid are going to jail. So many shopping malls have feeding rooms in the malls, usually near a food court. I'm a new mom and suffering from postpartum depression. I will feed my baby anywhere if he is that hungry, but for the most part I try to run for the nursing rooms. I don't think feeding my baby in public is bad, but with my PPD I will either ugly cry or go postal if someone tells me I should let my baby starve because boobs are offensive. I won't know until it happens. Now in the mall closest to us there is a lovely nursing room with change tables, 3 diapers on some days and a family bathroom attached. Now right side is another family bathroom, but this one has these toilets that are made for very small children, so a lot of parents bring their being potty trained kids in. No big deal. I never get any nasty comments, mostly moms cooing at the newborn babies. So about a week ago I was there for my weekly mall walk, as suggested by my caregiver for my PPD. My son starts to signal that he's hungry. My mother-in-law, who goes with me every week, amazing woman seriously, went to get me a snack in the food court and I begin nursing my son. There was only one other woman in there feeding her baby, but the room is shaped like an L because of the family washroom and she was around the corner. I'm feeding him when a woman brings in her toddler to use the family bathroom. The kid notices my baby and points. "Kid, look mommy, there's a baby." The woman didn't turn and just nodded her head as she was looking at her cell phone. I smiled at the kid. "Kid, what's his name?" "Me. Oh, his name is," insert son's name. The kid walks up to me and is about 2 feet away just watching the baby. Doesn't even notice the boob really. He is just smiling and watching my son feed. The mom looks up from her phone and gets this sour look on her face. She grabs her kid and pulled him away. She opens the family room washroom and puts him in there by himself and shuts the door. I'm a little surprised, but it's none of my business, so I just try to look down at my son and feed him. She coughs and I look back up. Entitled parent. Do you really need to do that here? Me confused. Here, like in this chair. Entitled parent glaring. No, in this room. In this family room. Can't you just go to the ladies' bathroom and do that? Now, this room's entrance has a sign on it that says in big bold letters nursing room with a figure feeding their child. It happens to have a family washroom inside, but it isn't just a family room. And even if it was, I'm pretty sure breastfeeding is more than welcome in the room. Anyway, I'm in shock and I feel my face getting red with embarrassment. Like I said, I'm suffering PPD and I have serious doubts about my capabilities of being a mom, despite evidence that says I'm doing well. Me said in a hushed whisper, "I think you have been mistake. This is a nurse." Entitled parent. Why can't you just pump at home, or better yet just use formula? You breastfeeders are always looking for excuses to expose your breasts. You're gonna traumatize my son. I can feel my eyes burning. I hate myself for this because I normally would have let her have it, but before I can say anything the door opens and in enters my mother-in-law. She has some food for me and is staring at this woman. Entitled parent barely looks at my mother-in-law. At this point the other nursing mother has loaded up her child and leaves the nursing room. My mother-in-law joins me, not realizing what is happening. She does notice my face though and gasps, "Hugger Blackrichet, are you alright?" I shake my head and a few tears do fall. Entitled parent. You need to teach your daughter to learn some self-respect. She's exposing herself to children in a public place. She needs to do that in the bathroom. My mother-in-law breastfed in the 90s when it wasn't nearly as common as it is now and didn't have nursing rooms, and had a ton of pushback for feeding in public when her son, my husband, was hungry. She got pissed and stood. Mother-in-law, whatever you said to my daughter-in-law, you better apologize. Right the hell now. She is in the nursing room of all places, and if anyone is in the wrong, you are. At this moment the family room bathroom opens up and her son came out. When he did, his mother grabbed him and covered his eyes. She is glaring at me again and I'm actually crying now, cursing my hormones. I had draped my jacket over my stroller and she grabbed it and proceeded to toss it at me in what I assume was an attempt to cover me up. My mother-in-law stopped the jacket from hitting me or her grandchild. Mother-in-law, I suggest you leave. Entitled parent is still glaring at me and hissing about me destroying her son's innocence when the door opens again. A female security guard enters and looks at us. She takes one look at us, makes eye contact with me and sees me crying. Entitled parent jumps right in. This woman is exposing herself to my son. The security guard was having none of it. We had complaints from another mother that there was a woman shaming a mother for using the nursing facility. Entitled parent. She is misusing this room. This room is for mothers and their children to use. Mother-in-law. She is a mother using it for her child. Security guard to entitled parent. I'm going to tell you right now to leave, or I will remove you by force. The poor child starts crying, and he's loud enough. My son lets go of my nipple and starts crying too. Poor kid was probably scared, but this was too much for entitled parent because my breast was completely exposed now. Entitled parent. See, she's exposing herself. Security guard is clearly having a bad day because she just takes out her walkie-talkie and speaks into it. I need another security staff to the nursing room. Repeat. I need another security staff to the nursing room. She puts away the walkie when there is a muffled response and she stares down the entitled parent. Entitled parent is stunned but is still covering her kid's eyes. I jump into mom mode and I'm trying to calm my son, breast still hanging out. She tries to argue with the security guard but is getting nowhere. My mother-in-law offers to take my son while I cover myself. I put my bra cup back over my exposed breast and pull my shirt down. I'm still sobbing but my mother-in-law is able to calm my son and return him to me. I just want to go and I tell my mother-in-law that. The rest is a blur but security guard says I can stay and leave a statement and they can call the police about harassment charges. I honestly should have, but I'm so embarrassed and just want to go home. My mental state was pretty far gone. My mother-in-law really thinks I should have stayed but I just wanted out of there. We ended up leaving just as the other security guard shows up. This one a male. I don't know what happened but I hope that the kid is alright. He really just looked curious about the baby. Regrettably I'm too nervous to return to the mall. I hate that I'll let this woman into my head. I can't wait for spring when it will be easier to take my son anywhere. Canadian winters suck. I live in Australia. Any holidays or trips usually entail long haul flights and extreme discomfort, so I'm a person who plans. I always get a window seat so I can curl up and sleep, and I always have my Sennheiser headphones for my music so I can drown out the crowd, and I bring a pillow to make things a bit cozy. On this particular trip I was heading to Norway. The year was 2006. I boarded my flight in Sydney for the leg to Kuala Lumpur, took my window seat and proceeded to get comfy. It was a late evening flight and I was hoping to sleep most of the way. Along comes entitled parent with entitled kid. Entitled kid would have been around 6 to 8 years old. His mum sat in the aisle seat and entitled kid sat next to me. By this time I had my earphones on and was listening to some cool sounds. I don't generally like to converse with people and this is my leave me alone strategy. Didn't work. Poked in the arm by entitled kid. What are you listening to? Me. Music and please don't poke me. Poked again. Can I listen? Me. No. Please do not poke me. Entitled mom. What is going on? Me. Your child just poked me twice and I asked him not to do it again. Entitled mom. He's just a child. Sometimes you just have to put up with things. Me. He is your child. You can put up with it. I don't have to. Could you please tell your child not to annoy me? I just want to listen to my music in peace. Entitled parent. Whatever. At this point what I was thinking would be bleeped out but I remained calm. Put my headphones back on. Picked up a book and lost myself in it trying to ignore all the wriggling from the seat next to me. We had taken off and were about a half hour into the fight when I'm once again poked. Me. Yes. Entitled kid. Mum said for you to put the armrest up so there is room for me to lie down. My brain. What the fuck? My mouth. No. The armrest stays down. Entitled parent. What is the matter? Why won't you put the armrest up? It will give entitled kid more room. You aren't fat or anything so you don't need your whole seat. Me. The armrest stays down. I have paid for a seat and I'm using my seat. Now please leave me alone. I retreat once again to my book. About another half an hour and I feel a little head falling against my left arm. The kid is falling asleep and is resting against me. I remember so clearly that he was sweaty around his hairline and the sweat was on my arm. I'm not big on invasion of my space as I'm sure you are all aware by now. I also hate others sweating on me. Eek. I gently push him off me and tell his mother what has happened. I ask her to please have him rest against her and not me. Entitled parent. You must hate children. Me, I'm not particularly enamored. True, but I don't hate them. I just don't want your child invading my space. Here's yours. Have him lean against you. Entitled parent. He is just trying to get comfortable so he can sleep. Me. So am I. And I can't do it when your child is sweating and leaning against my arm. Entitled parent then proceeded to go off. I distinctly remember being called a bitch among other choice things. A flight attendant soon materialized. Entitled parent went off loudly about how I was making the flight horrible for her child. I was invading their space. I was annoying her child, etc. The flight attendant then asked for my side of the story. I explained calmly and quietly all that had happened, with entitled parent interjecting at frequent intervals. The attendant then told entitled parent that I had the right to leave the armrest down and that her child should not invade my space. Entitled parent glared daggers at me. The attendant then left for a few minutes and upon her return asked me to gather my belongings and come with her. I was concerned and asked where I was going, as I had requested a window seat specifically and didn't want any other. She informed me that I was being upgraded to first class. I hastily picked up my possessions and with a cheery "have a nice flight" to entitled parent I headed off. Got a fantastic 6 hours of luxurious sleep before landing in Kuala Lumpur. Right, so this happened about 5 years ago when I was working as a newly qualified social worker. I know, lynch mob me. I don't anymore. It was a nightmare. It has been a rough morning and long story short, I had spit and vomit on me. As pretty standard practice, I kept a spare set of court clothes in my car so I had something to change into. But I felt pretty disgusting and wanted a shower. So I took an early lunch and went to my gym nearby the office to shower and change. I showered, came out and put my hair up into a towel turban and walked to go back to the lockers. Changing area was empty except for one kid, a boy about 8 or 9. A bit weird for him to be alone, but I assumed his mum must have been in the only occupied stall, so I didn't think too much of it. I smiled to acknowledge him and got to my locker to grab my things to change into. At this point the boy, entitled kid, looked at me, pointed at my towel turban and said, "What's that?" Me, "Oh, it's a towel turban. Pretty neat, huh? It stays up better than a regular towel." Entitled kid, "Cool," and started to reach for my head. Me, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" Entitled kid, "I just want to see it." Me, "No, I'm using it. Sorry." At this point in my life I'm pretty used to kids being a bit inappropriate and it's my job to make sure they understand. But I wasn't expecting here. He looked a bit pissed, but went back to his mum's phone. I get dressed quickly and get my things to go over to the mirror and take the turban off to hairdryer my hair. I'm flipping my hair around to get it dried and I notice that this kid comes up to the mirror, then leaves again. I think nothing of it and finish drying my hair, turn the hairdryer off, reach for my turban, and it isn't there. I know what he's done, and I whip around and look at him and he's turning a shade of red, but staring fixedly on his phone so as to ignore me. I'm trying to remain calm, but Christ, I've been spattered, vomited on, and now someone has stolen my towel turban. I walk back over and do my best I've had enough of this bullshizzery voice and say, "Please return the turban now." He keeps ignoring me, so I repeat, "Please return the turban now." He's gone a huge shade of red, refuses to look at me and mumbles something like I didn't take it. I've had it at this point, so go over to the only occupied stall and knock on the door. "Excuse me, is this your son out here?" Entitled mom opens the door and looks at me thoroughly annoyed. "What?" Me, "Is this your son? He has taken my towel turban. I have asked for it back but he is not returning it. Please ask him to hand it back and I'll not inform the gym staff." Entitled mom, "What the fuck is a towel turban?" I start to explain but entitled kid says, "It's a hair towel that stays up better than a normal towel." We both look at him and she says, "Okay, so what do you want?" Me, "I want my towel turban back, please." Entitled mom, "Well, he wouldn't just take something. You obviously just lost it. You shouldn't go around accusing people because you lose things." Me getting annoyed, "Well, he will have no problem then emptying his bag. If he has it, he can just hand it back, and if I'm mistaken, I will apologize." Entitled mom looks at entitled kid and it's obvious to anyone that he's lying, but she just says, "Don't be fucking stupid. I'm not letting you rummage through his things like he's some kind of thief. Look at you. You are harassing a little boy in a changing room." I inhale to try and stop my eyes doing a 360-degree roll and say, I'm not asking to touch anything. I'm asking for you to go through his bag for my turban. That is all. If you are not willing, I will go to the staff and ask them to sort this out. I know it's just a freaking towel turban, but theft is theft, and it's pink and cute, so I'm not letting anyone have it. Entitled Mom. So you're threatening me now? I know a circular argument when I hear one. So I go to the door, lean out and call for someone to come and sort it out. Enter gym trainer dude. What's going on? He looks between the three of us, and the kid has gone back to staring a hole through the phone, and entitled mom positions herself between gym trainer dude and me. Entitled mom. This crazy bitch is harassing my son and trying to go through his bag. She needs throwing out. Me. That isn't what happened. Her son has taken my towel turban and I would like it returned. I just keep looking at this kid and gym trainer dude says, okay, so what happened, mate? Did you take the towel? Entitled kid mumbles something about how I must have lost it, and entitled mom jumps in and says, see, he didn't take it. He's so traumatized he can barely say anything. She then bends down to him and hugs him, saying it'll be alright and she won't let me get away with this. Very dramatically. I look at gym trainer dude and explain the whole event, and he says, okay, so why don't we just check his bag? Entitled kid starts dramatically wailing and entitled mom starts ranting about how this is harassment. Gym trainer dude looks uncomfortable and says, that's literally the only way I think I can solve this. Entitled mom then stands up and tries to push past me, but I'm not moving and the room is small, so fails. She starts swearing and thrusts the kid's backpack at gym trainer dude saying, fine, check it. He hasn't taken it, and when you don't find it I want her thrown out. You to apologize and get the manager. Entitled kid wails. Gym trainer dude obviously finds the pink wet turban towel in the bag. He picks it up and kinda just looks at it. Entitled kid wails even more and tries to grab it, but gym trainer dude holds it out of his reach. Gym trainer dude, right, so, this is yours. Me, yes, thank you. I stuff the coveted turban towel into my bag and get out my car's keys and ID lanyard. As I put the lanyard over my head, something audibly clicked in entitled mom's head. That's a social worker ID. She yanks entitled kid's arm, snatches the bag from gym trainer dude, and I move to let her pass. Gym trainer dude looks super confused and I explain that she must have just been embarrassed that her son stole my turban. But I knew she was panicking because she realized what my job was and that her son was out of school stealing pink wet turban towels.